Internet, I'm HamsterBomb.
And I'm Timothy.
And you guys are back for a Halloween special episode of...
This is Spooktacular Halloween.
We did not agree to a spooktacular.
Oh, okay.
But it is Pokedex Paradox. It may or may not be spooktacular.
I hate that, by the way. I don't know why I said that.
I don't know why you... Yeah. Should we just start... We'll just forget about that completely?
Just forget about
guys, it didn't happen, okay? So instead, what we wanted to do was a kind of a fan-requested special episode for you guys. And we kind of turned it into a Halloween special because the kind of requests we keep getting for you guys on the Discord page where you recommend particular Pokedex entries for us to do, a lot of them are just the weird, creepy stuff that are
you
just in the Pokedex.
You can't science that.
Yeah, like, how am I supposed to take some weird stuff that we'll get into today? We have a ton of them. And how are we supposed to take that and, like, figure out the math and the science behind it? It's just creepy. That's all it is. So, yes, there's a fun flair to it. So we figured, you know what? Time to do that is Halloween. We're going to do a Halloween fun special episode where we pack in a ton of these. And we're going to have a theme this time. We might even do a Halloween episode next time because there's no shortage of creepy Pokedex entries. So instead, this time,
And once again, as always, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon give us the best Dex entries.
That's a given. That's a given. You're going to get trash entries from the Ultra games. So, or as I see it, the newer the game, the dumber the entry.
Oh, I don't know. There's some really bad ones from Red. And
yeah, some just start out horrible.
And...
So we have 10 whole Pokemon to get into today. 5 are Pokemon that kill people. Actively go out of their way and kill people.
And then the other 5 used to be people.
Yep, we have 5 Pokemon that kill people and another 5 that are people.
Now, some of those also overlap because some of the ones that used to be people
actually
like
are
to
people.
Kill people.
Or are people and kill people. But they're still Pokemon, and you can capture them and enslave them and all that stuff. So let's get started with some of these. I'm going to say about half of these were actually requests for us to do this. And you guys didn't even know we were going to do a montage episode like this. So let's try and get this going, see how quick we can get through 10 Pokemon in one episode. We have Haunter. Haunter started getting weird ones in Ruby and Sapphire, where it says, Haunter is a dangerous Pokemon. If one beckons you while floating in darkness, you must never approach it. This Pokemon will try to lick you with its tongue and steal your life away. Now, if we go on in Silver, we see a little bit of what that means. Silver, its tongue is made of gas. If licked, its victim starts shaking constantly until death eventually comes.
Now, I know we talked a little bit about gas in our burps and farts episode, so I'm sure that might be out there. But the important part in this dex is that it has the intent to kill.
Yes.
Human beings.
It's going after people. It says, like, if one beckons you while floating in the darkness, it called for the person to come to them so it could kill them. That's awful. Also, Kim wanted to point out, yes, his tongue is a gas, and there are gases that can make someone shake constantly until they die.
Yeah, they're out there, I'm sure.
That's possible. So, he's also poison gas. Yeah, he's a poison ghost Pokemon.
And I found it very weird with Haunter that the Ghastly and Gengar ones are not as creepy as what Haunter does.
Right. Haunter's more the malicious one. He goes for you. He's coming. So, I got another one here. This one used to be a person. Yamask. Black. Each of them carries a mask that used to be its face when it was human. Sometimes they look at it and cry. Ew.
Oh.
Black 2, White 2. These Pokemon arose from the spirits of people interred in graves. Each retains memories of its former life. They're not even trying to disguise that.
But
this is a person.
This is definitely a person. They are pointing this out. But at least it doesn't have this malicious intent to kill things like Haunter does, right?
No. That happens when it evolves.
right.
Cophagrigus. Black. It has been said that they swallow those who get too close and turn them into mummies. They like to eat gold nuggets.
Yay!
Black 2, White 2. Grave robbers who mistake them for real coffins and get too close end up trapped inside their bodies. So this thing entices people to get up to them and locks them inside
Which I'm claiming is eating them. Because...
It kills people. I don't know if it actually gets any nourishment from that, but who knows?
Well, I mean, it eats gold nuggets, so maybe when it kills the person, that becomes another Yamask, and that's how it reproduces.
That may be true. I have no idea. That is a good way to tie that together, because now we have a Pokemon that was a person become a Pokemon that kills people, which is just so stupid, and it's not the first time it's going to happen in this episode.
So, what I'm wondering is why we don't have any variations.
Actually, it is the first time. It's not going to be the second. It's going to happen again. Is what I was going to say.
It's going to happen more than once.
It's going to happen more than once. Yeah.
So with Yamask, we should have some variations like the Spinda. Like it carries a different mask. Like different ones appear. You know, wouldn't that be fun?
That's still awful. No, it wouldn't
disturbing?
be fun. No, like it actually just carries like one of those severed head dolls.
Oh.
Like this tribal. That's what it's doing.
It says it's
just a cartoon drawing.
Yeah, well, it's like
it carries a mask that used to be its face when it was a human. It's not like it's a mold of a particular face or anything. It was its head. This is a severed, this creepy
like
tribal severed head.
Like, let me rip this off as it leaves the body.
Yeah, it's like a shrunken head Pokemon.
Ugh.
What they were going for, but they straight up kept it in its dex. It's just wrong. So, how about we have another human that turns into a Pokemon that ends up killing other humans as a Pokemon?
What's wrong with Pokedex?
It's happened twice, as far as we can find. At least twice. Phantump in Y and Alpha Sapphire. According to old tales, these Pokemon are stumps possessed by the spirits of children who died while lost in the forest. Nice.
I just want everybody to know that Phantump's about a 30% chance of showing up.
Yeah, it's an uncommon. There's lots of them.
There's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of dead children being lost in the forest.
Now, the Yamask thing would be a little different. That I think you find him in, like, I'm thinking of, like, Black and White. There's, like, that haunted old pyramid region, deserty kind of thing with the ruins.
So is that people getting lost in the desert?
That could be, like, an ancient civilization that was cursed by some weird thing. We don't know.
I don't know.
But
Phantump
regularly keeps appearing around certain villages.
I don't know which town that forest is near in X and Y either, but stop letting your children go into the forest.
And stop capturing them as Pokemon, because people are really messed up what they're doing with these. I want to keep moving here.
So not only does this Pokemon, this is also another one that has malicious intent, I feel like.
Later, not yet.
No, the second entry, yes.
Oh, okay, sure, but I have more crazy stuff to talk about Phantump.
Yeah.
So, Ultra Sun, by imitating... Oh, yeah, you're right. By imitating the voice of a child, it causes people to get hopelessly lost deep in the forest. It's trying to make friends with them.
Look at them. They're trying to make it friendly at the end, and it's
trying
not.
to make... Okay, if it's saying it's trying to make friends, you can't say it's as malicious, but it is inadvertently a human
doing this
that's a Pokemon. The intent is you're trying to make it as more evil than it is. If it's still just accidentally, because I think that's what it is, getting people lost in the forest and creating more Phantumps, right? It's making more Phantumps. This is how more of them show up. How come there are so many Phantumps?
There's so many.
Why are people not leaving the woods? Just go kill them all. These all need to be destroyed. Which, of course, they do. But knowing people in the Pokemon world, they did a very stupid thing with it. Ultra Moon. An unknown spirit came to lodge in a tree stump, creating this Pokemon. A cure-all can be made from an infusion of its green leaves.
This was your favorite one, I feel
Yeah,
like.
so, oh no, the family at home is still mourning the loss of Trevor, their young little boy who wandered off into the woods. And then, Sally next door, who was beckoned into the woods by this strange crying voice of a child she heard in the woods. All the other kids, they keep going to the woods and they die. The family's mourning, and they realize, oh, there's a bunch of Phantumps floating around here now. Hey, you know what we should do? We should kill them, take the leaves, so that our stomachache goes away.
You don't have to kill them to take their leaves.
How do you know that? You know what happens when you pluck all the leaves off of, like, a tiny little tree?
It does fine.
A tiny little tree like that?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, here. What happens when you pluck all the fingers off a little kid?
Yeah, they might scream for a while.
You realize that he's gonna feel it. It's still there. You're not getting this at all. That's their kid, and now they're like, whatever. I might as well, like, use you as a medicine cabinet.
I mean, it's something.
What do you mean it's something? You're like, whatever.
I don't think it's as
I raised that thing for like 8
disturbing.
years. I, had to bring that heavy little lump of meat around in my belly for 9 months. Thing plopped out, ate all my food, drew with crayons all over the walls. Screw that little thing. The best it can do in its life is give me an ointment for my toe. Because it's been a little itchy.
I think we should move on then to its
It evolved.
evolution.
It
'Cause
evolves.
It evolves.
It evolves, and then it starts killing people. As if the other one, the Phantom, was already kind of beckoning people and killing people. Now it's now it's straight up killing people.
Now it's malicious.
All right, you want to read this one? I've been reading them all
Okay,
so far.
Trevenant.
X.
This is X and Omega Ruby.
Mhm.
It can control trees at will.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It will trap people who harm the forest so they can never leave.
So it kills them. It kills them.
It kills them.
It forces people to get lost in the woods and they become phantoms.
Yep.
That's nice.
And then
we
it
have
kills
more.
them. So this is Sun, always some gold. Real gold here. Okay, this Pokemon is said to devour any daring to ravage the forest.
Hold on. It's said to devour anyone daring to ravage the forest.
To the creatures dwelling in the forest, it offers great kindness.
So hold on. Back up. If you go in the forest, it tries to eat you alive. But if you live in the forest, it offers you great kindness. How does it tell the difference? It just eats people.
Does it do this to other Pokemon that wander into the forest?
We're probably going to have an episode later on eating Pokemon. By the way, Thanksgiving special.
I'm super excited
about that. By the way, just
about
a little
that.
teaser there. Just throwing that out there. But anyway, we have one more on Trevenant. Ultra Sun. It's getting better. Kim.
It's feared as a ghost of the forest. Lumberjacks bring along fire types, which Trevenant hates when they enter the forest.
So, they're intentionally pissing off the murder trees that are eating people.
They hate lumberjacks.
They hate lumberjacks. So lumberjacks, so far there was any type of people that are being called out that they're going to get murdered this Halloween.
Lumberjacks.
It's lumberjacks. You guys are all dead. Sorry. Now, we have another malicious murdering Pokemon.
Oh, yes. So this is Bennett.
Bennett. Now, we were going to include Shuppet in here too, but Shuppet wasn't really...
He's not trying to kill people.
Yeah, he wasn't really trying to kill people, and he wasn't really,
spirit.
like, well, okay, here. Since you mentioned Spirit, we want to point something out. We might do this for our next Halloween thing. There's a tremendous amount of ghost types that say, it's the spirit of this, it's the spirit of that. Spirit this, spirit, all the spirit stuff. If it doesn't straight up say it's a human, we didn't count it. Okay,
Right.
So that's why, when we get something that is like Shuppet, we didn't throw it in here on top of all that, because it's not the same thing. But Bennett is malicious and wants to kill people.
Yes.
This thing is evil. So, do you want to read Bennett?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I love Bennett. It's a little creepy.
Bennett.
Black 2, White 2. A doll that became a Pokemon over its grudge of being thrown away. It seeks the child who disowned it.
All right, so straight up, we already see it's like, it's supposed to be a creepy horror story of this kid who had this doll, and eventually he didn't really care for it, and he threw it away. The grudge that the Pokemon carries turns the doll into an animate demon that seeks that child out.
Which for me, it's like, okay, the Shuppet gets drawn to it and then evolves. So I'm trying to figure out the evolution.
She's trying to justify Shuppet. I think it's more of like the grudge creates the Bennett, because the more as you read some of these entries, Pokemon just poof are.
They just are.
And sometimes they just are another evolution.
Right.
And the early ones just don't even exist, so I don't care about that. But
so
we have a couple
also
others.
have Y. Strong feelings of hatred turned a puppet into a Pokemon. If it opens its mouth, its cursed energy escapes.
Now, people want to talk about this one a lot because they love the Pokemon Me thing where its zipper mouth opens up and it's like, yay, playing with you, but we don't know what cursed energy means, so there's no way to science that. So we pointed it out. We don't need to make an episode on Bennett because that's just nonsense. Besides, cursed energy really could just be like, I could consider whenever I eat a really, really big, beefy bean burrito, a couple hours later, my cursed energy starts to erupt And
This is not a burps and farts episode. Please stop.
I'm sorry, but you don't know what it could be anything.
Because there were actually a lot of Pokemon as well that have like cursed energy and curses.
Yeah, right. What does that even mean?
Cursed land.
Yeah.
So we also have another lovely one that comes from Ultra Sun. It's a stuffed toy that was thrown away and became possessed. Ever searching for the one who threw it away so it can exact its revenge.
That's what we needed to see. Because up to this point, it just said it has a grudge for being thrown away and is looking for the child. This could have been a Toy Story thing. But no, it wants to exact its revenge.
That sounds a little murdery to me.
Murdering children is the best kind of murder when you're a Pokemon.
Well,
this is a kid's game.
I really hope that doesn't get taken out of context.
That's going to end up on my Discord somehow. Anyway, so murdering children aside, let's move on. Oh, no, just kidding.
We're going to murder some more children.
We have more children to murder. I just saw the next one we're going to read here. Drifloon. I can take Drifloon.
Okay.
So in Diamond, right when we get this sucker, we already get bad entries. A Pokemon formed by the spirits of people and Pokemon. Interjecting. It's a human.
It's multiple
just said
humans.
That. This is a double duty here. This one is a human that murders other people. But it also could be a spirit of Pokemon, too. We don't really know. They use that ambiguous spirit word, so we don't really know. But anyway, formed by the spirits of people and Pokemon, it loves damp, humid seasons. Yay.
That doesn't make much sense for a balloon.
No, it's a balloon. That makes absolutely no sense. But anyway, moving on. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It is whispered that any child who mistakes Drifloon for a balloon and holds onto it could wind up missing.
Missing? We don't know what missing means?
Well...
Could be lost, could not be dead.
Could be dead.
But you know what? Sun specifies that for us.
Sun clarified it. You want to read Sun?
So Sun. Stories go that it grabs the hands of small children and drags them away to the afterlife. It dislikes heavy children. It's my
that wasn't bad enough
entry.
already. It's like, by the way,
favorite entry.
When they go missing, they're dead. And on top of that, it hates fat kids.
No fatties for Drifloon.
Fat shaming from Pokemon itself. Drifloon does not like your fat children.
That's one of my favorite Drifloon entries for sure.
That's gold right there. Heavy is gold too.
So this
Ultra
is
Sun. You want to give me an Ultra Sun?
Yeah, so Ultra Sun, a little bit of a mixture here. Its round body is stuffed with souls, and it expands each time it leads someone away.
This changes everything. That makes it so weird.
It changes so many things.
Okay, so Drifloon, apparently, now we piece all this together, is letting kids who grab the balloon, it pulls them away, Billy's Balloon style, if you've seen that little animation. I knew that was going to pop up at one point. That was no pun intended. So it flies away with the little kid, kills them, somehow absorbs their soul, and sucks it into the balloon, and I guess that's how it gets bigger, which I guess is where Drifloons... Drifblooms, I'm sorry, come from. Right? They could just get bigger, which, by the way, there was nothing really exciting in Drifbloom's entry.
Drifloon's more the evil one.
We know,
Drifbloom's just like...
Drifloon is the one that goes for kids and kills the kids and collects their souls and is all happy about that because yum.
See, like, Drifloon was like, oh, it just blows around happily in the wind.
Right.
Nothing too evil about it. No murdery, you know.
We have a couple more. And
they're still going.
By the way, if your favorite entries were the ones where that's a human, and think about that next time you play with this Pokemon, all three of these last Pokemon we're going to talk about are people.
Like our last one's a doozy one you weren't expecting.
Right, I was not expecting that at all. I was like, what are you talking about? But anyway, I'm going to let you read the ones that you found in here. I'm going to read one in particular they want to talk about.
Next one we've got is Frostlass.
Frostlass.
Now, I remember when this Pokemon came out and I was like, oh, that's the story of the woman getting lost on the mountain from yokai lore in Japan.
Sure.
Called Yuki Oda.
Now you know that.
I felt like most people might have known.
I think that's why you decided to look this one up, to see what they teased in here. It's worse than what we expected.
It's worse than just that. Well, I guess this is what happens in those stories.
Yes, but Frostlass is a double dipper.
Oh, yes.
Frostlass is a human that murders people.
It's great.
Start us out.
Heart Gold. Legends in snowy regions say that a woman who was lost on an icy mountain was reborn as Frostlass.
All right, so this is kind of phantom-y.
Right?
This is just specifically a lost woman. So, now, I also want to point out, where's Snowrunt in this? Like,
I don't know. I didn't even look up Snowrunt.
Is Snowrunt then inadvertently a lost child that, if it was a female, turns to Frostlass? Then how come all guys...
This is another Pokemon that just is. That just exists.
Then how come all dudes become a Glalie? And then sometimes, I want to point this out Gardevoir style, you can have a female Glalie. You can.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't realize that. Like, my Gardevoir, from my original game I played in Ruby, was male. That's just a thing. You know, Glalie and Gallade and Frostlass came later. So, this is just ultra weird. Speaking of Ultra,
plus you can also do that in Pokemon Go too. If you don't use a Sinnoh Stone on it, you can just make it.
You can do it in anything.
Gardevoir.
Do it in anything.
So another one. So this it just keeps getting deeper. There's just so many layers.
Well, we jumped straight up to Sun, Moon, Ultra Moon is what we're gonna read. So these are just all straight up stupid, but they're bad. Go for it, Kim.
Okay, Sun. When it finds humans or Pokemon it likes, it freezes them and takes them to its chilly den where they become decorations.
Did you hear that? Does she need to say that again? That was horrible. I'm gonna say it again, but slower, and emphasize every wrong part of this. When it finds humans or Pokemon it likes, it freezes them and takes them to its chilly den where they become decorations.
It's not even murdering for food.
No,
it's murdering to make its house pretty.
It doesn't murder to, you know, get stronger and level up or, like, any drive. It just likes killing people. And Pokemon. It doesn't discriminate. It murders everything.
Moon is also a great one.
Okay.
The soul of a woman lost on a snowy mountain possessed an icicle, becoming this Pokemon. I don't know where that one came from, but okay.
Why? Go for it.
The food it most relishes is the soul of men.
The food it most relishes is the souls of men.
Delicious. So it eats for decoration. It eats and it also kills for decoration. So at least it's getting some. It kills for
decoration, but if it's a man...
No.
And Frostlass has a particular taste in men, as we're going to find in the next entry. Go for it.
So Ultra Sun, it freezes hikers who have to climb snowy mountains and carries them back to its home. It only goes after men it thinks are handsome.
Those are the most delicious men.
Those aren't even
they make the best
ones.
Decorations as well.
Yes.
I love freezing handsome men inside my domicile.
I just kept reading Frostlass and I was like, we have to read all of these dex entries. They're all giving us a little bit more insight into what is going on.
Whereas I'm freaking out like, how are we going to do 10 Pokemon in one episode? And Kim's like, oh my god, we have to say everything on Frostlass. This is so messed up. Alright, we have one more for you guys. Ultra Moon.
Ultra Moon. It is said that on nights of terrible blizzards, it comes down to human settlements. If you hear knocking at your door, do not open it.
So, not only does it do all that other stuff.
Like, if you go onto the mountain, okay, I get that.
I get that. You got lost, it carried you away. This thing, straight up, loves murdering people in Pokemon, just for the fun of it, and will go to your house and try and lure you outside to kill you.
It's like, so far on my list of things we're reading, this is like the top. Like, Frostlass, the evilest Pokemon ever.
We need to just exterminate this species. Like, there's some Pokemon that we found that they just need to die for humanity to live. This thing needs to die. There's so,
It's so high on the list. It's so high.
It's so awful. But anyway, we got more Pokemon to move on to, and I've got
how about you
a fun
read
one.
This next one?
You guys have pointed this out to us. We all know about this one. You know who's going to come up when we're talking about people who become Pokemon. This is the famous one. Kadabra. But it's more messed up than you would care to think it was. I found some crazy weird stuff about this, and we're only going to be looking at 2 entries here. So first off, Fire Red. It happened one morning. A boy with extraordinary powers awoke in bed, transformed into Kadabra. What? It was like starting like...
Is this his origin story?
Like, this summer, coming to a theater near you, a boy with extraordinary powers awakens in bed. A Pokemon and journeys across the land as a slave to Sabrina. But eventually gets captured by a Frostlass and becomes decoration on the wall.
Here.
He's not handsome enough.
He's not handsome enough, no. Now, what's really weird about this is there's a little bit of clarification here in Sun. A theory exists that this Pokemon was a young boy who couldn't control his psychic powers and ended up transformed into this Pokemon. So this is important because it makes it a little bit more ambiguous, and this is not one event, okay? So, what this means is, what's an Abra, okay?
I know, yeah.
So here,
What's an
I know
Abra?
I've told you this, obviously,
Yeah.
but I have to tell them. So, what does this mean for Abra? So, if Kadabras are children who have some weird extraordinary power who just suddenly become Kadabra, then Abra doesn't make any sense. So, the only way this works, there's only two solutions I could figure out from this. One, all Abras are just really deformed humans. Human children that are just thrown out.
Or...
Like from Witcher. What are those things called? Those deformed, ugly... It's
I don't
gross.
know.
It's gross. I know they become a lubberkin, but...
that's the word I thought you were looking for.
No, what's the one before?
I don't know.
Dang it, it's on the tip of my tongue. I
Wait,
totally
but
forget.
anyway, what if it's like...
Anyway, so
they fall asleep? They fall
yes,
asleep.
and Abras are always sleeping. That's the thing I want to tie together here. Yes, Abras are always sleeping, and when they're in danger, they teleport away. They have no way of actually fighting and getting strength themselves. So, how do they evolve is the question. That's my other solution.
Up,
Remember
so
I said there's
Abra
two
wakes
solutions? Okay. The second one, Abras are just like the initial vessel that this creature is, okay? As it wakes up, what it's trying to do is find another sleeping child and Freaky Friday it. The kid will then awaken as a Pokemon, as far as they're aware, but what actually happened was the Pokemon became a human. It has to go both ways. So that Abra is now walking around in your shoes. That is way more messed up than just becoming a Pokemon one day and suddenly realizing that you're going to be captured by some trainer and the rest of your life you're just a slave. They might not even like you, and they're going to put you in the box. They're going to determine, you know what, I kind of like Gardevoir. It's a little bit stronger, you know, whatever. Maybe it's like, I kind of prefer Hypno. Its stats are a little bit more leveled out, and I don't really want to bother, you know, trading this Kadabra because I don't have any friends, so you're going to stay in the box for the rest.
friends.
You can stay in the box for the rest of your life. Whereas, somewhere out there, maybe even that very same trainer is like, hey, guess what? I used to be an Abra, and then one day, boom, I was a kid.
See,
and he tells that to the Kadabra, he's like, Kadabra, Kadabra!
See, I thought you would have been going the other way around. Like, the kid falls asleep as a human, and then while it's sleeping becomes this Abra. And it doesn't become... Because when the kid would wake up, then he would think he's a Kadabra.
Well, both happen.
Would think he's been a Kadabra
Both have
the
to
whole
happen
time.
at the same time for them to switch
But
bodies.
I also want to point out that Abra only sleeps 18 hours a day.
Okay.
That is in his dex entry.
All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, but still, eventually, he got enough experience somehow, because, I don't know, and he managed to awaken. But, anyway, that Kadabra, it's way more messed up than I thought it was. Anyway, I'm glad we finally got to cover that guy. He's a really screwed up one.
Yeah.
We have one more for you guys, and we're actually close on time here, which is good.
Okay.
All right, Kim,
so,
Ninetales.
This one I wouldn't have expected. It's a Ninetales.
Yep,
like
sorry,
you were
I
just
I
saying. You
spoiled
spoiled it. I had an entry.
I
Anyway,
didn't mean to.
Ninetales.
Go for it.
So, probably weren't expecting this one at all. But according to Yellow, according to an enduring legend, 9 noble saints were united and reincarnated as this Pokemon.
This may be one of the dumbest entries I've ever seen. I have no idea what that means.
This is another one, it just was.
And then one day, poof. Well, like, what is Vulpix? We have no idea.
I started reading Vulpix trying to figure it out.
So wait, 9 noble saints were united and reincarnated as this Pokemon.
Now, some of its dex entries go into more of, like, the story of the Nine-Tailed Fox, which, you know, the 1,000 years,
right.
kind of a malicious fox, so. We also have Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
Legend has it that Ninetales came into being when 9 wizards possessing sacred powers merged into one. This Pokemon is highly intelligent.
Yeah, get out of here, you stinking religion. We don't need you in our video games. Instead, wizards. This is what we think of your saints. Whoa.
I love that the older one has saints being united and reincarnated.
They were trying to stick to more of a lore there, and then they're like, wizards.
Wizards merging into one.
As if that's better, you know? Like, that wasn't the weird part, Pokemon, but okay.
Sure, why not?
We have one more, of
the
course.
The lovely Ultra Sun. It is vindictive and relentless by nature. Those who cross it even once will be cursed for 1,000 years, along with their descendants.
Not only is this not just one person, this Pokemon is a collective 9 wizards and or saints who are also malicious and curse people. And I want to point out how stupid that line was. Cursed for 1,000 years along with their descendants? No crap. Are you gonna live that long? No.
Well, Ninetales lives that long.
Ninetales does.
Yeah.
But like,
because that's part of that fox lore. Like, it lives for 1,000 years.
Fox lore.
So.
Yeah, but sorry, I don't know where that came from.
So I'm coming up with my theory is that the Firestone actually just contains 9 souls of wizards and or noble saints.
You're a wizard, Ninetales. You're 9 wizards, Ninetales. And you shall not pass with 1,000 years curse somehow.
Ninetales is just cute and fluffy, and it says, "Don't get his tails tangled up." That's pretty much what its dex entries say.
For Vulpix's sake of knowing we read it, wasn't it born with one tail?
Yeah,
even
it's
though it
born
pops out
with
of an
one
egg.
tail.
Yeah,
it's born with one white tail. White tail.
That would be cute. Someone draw that. Has someone drawn that? I want to see that. I've seen one with a bunch of white tails.
And then it's like, as it gets older, it fans out and becomes what we know as Vulpix.
Sure. Maybe it's one really fat tail, like Kadabra's. You have to go back to that dude. And then his tail just, like, plop, falls off. I don't know what happens. He evolves by sawing his tail off.
Right, so let me give you this stone of 9 wizards.
The stone of 9 wizards. That's what a Firestone is, then,
That's
right?
what I think. Yeah, that's what a Firestone has to be.
You basically, to concoct a Firestone, we need, like, a cooking show recipe on how to make Firestone. First, you take 9 saints. They have to be noble saints. They gotta be the good kind. Now, if you can't find a saint, you can substitute for wizards. They have to possess sacred powers, however.
Right. Okay.
That is imperative to the
Could we get, like, 9 witchers and do that? I mean, does that work?
I don't know. That's not a wizard. No. We also need to make sure you're not mixing the kinds. We can't put in saints and wizards. They don't like each other. They're from contradictory timelines. Now, if we put all 9 of these people together, you stir... you just put them in a bowl. They may be yelling and upset about this, but get the whisk out. You smack them around enough, and eventually it will liquefy. And then once that happens, you bake them at 20 bajillion degrees for about 8 seconds. Since we could have, waited for 30,000 years, we thought, just turn the dial up a little higher, put it up to 20 bajillion degrees, then you don't have to wait about 8 seconds.
A little burnt, but I mean,
Well, you have to take it out exactly at 8 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Then it might be a little burnt. But, I mean, we're trying to make a rock here. So, once it's finished, you might have to excavate the crust a little bit.
You could also give
There's
this
weird,
to,
scripts and stuff you'll have to peel off the edge, pages of the Bible and whatnot. If not, then there are sorcery tomes and things you have to peel.
Should we find which particular noble saints are having to be going in?
I don't even... Or what particular wizards would be my favorite, though? I want to throw Hagrid and... Just Hagrid. Another Hagrid... Ganondorf.
PS1 Hagrid.
PS1 Hagrid. Yeah, okay, we'll have Hagrid, PS1 Hagrid, Ganondorf.
What's the one from Sorcerer's Stone?
I don't know. What do you mean? You're a wizard, Harry. Is that what you're talking about?
Are we throwing Harry in here too? Can we throw in Harry?
No. How about the lizard, who is a wizard? You're a wizard.
Okay, what about Dumbledore? How many wizards are we throwing in this?
Can we stop? It's cooked. It's done. Boom. That's how you make a Firestone.
Okay,
it doesn't make any sense. That's all you need to know.
Also, that's what goes into Firestones. You can also give it to your Growlithe.
Happy Halloween.
You can give it to your
now
Eevee.
You know that. Okay. And then you can pass them out as treats at Halloween. We've come full circle. Just give out the cooked souls of all the barbecued wizards and or saints that you enjoy.
Yeah, I bet that took a turn you weren't expecting it.
Yeah. I'm not sure why that all happened, but anyway, that is all the time we have in this episode. And this has been a really weird one. but for the sake of at least making a Halloween episode, I thought this was kind of fun.
I
We could
feel
try
like
and
we
cram
might
in a
have
bunch.
some more, like you said, Thanksgiving, and I don't know what we'll do with
Oh
Christmas,
yeah, we
'cause that
got
probably
a
won't work
delicious
out, but-
Pokemon episode coming up for
Do you know
Thanksgiving.
how many times I've made a list of what Pokemon I think would just be delicious?
We're getting to it later. Next episode.
Not
whatever
the next
Not
episode.
next one. Whatever it happens. But anyway, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to join us next time for some more game science. Be sure to follow us either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And we will see you all in the next episode of Pokedex Paradox.
Bye-bye.